Hello, how y'all doing today? Tonight we're going to talk coming out of the book of Ruth. We're speaking to the broken-hearted woman, the woman that's in despair. The woman that's searching for her mate, Boaz, as Ruth ended up marrying. But there was a process before you had got to the Boaz and Ruth, the marriage thing. Where she found her Boaz, there was a process. There was a Naomi. Now let's talk about Naomi for a few seconds. Naomi was married to Elimelech. Misfortune, she had two sons, which Ruth was married to one. Both the sons passed away, tragically passed away. Also the husband. So Naomi was on her way to Moab. She was suffering. She was struggling. She basically gave up on life, Naomi. Basically gave up. Go home to die suffering. Told the two young ladies that was married to her children, move on, go so you can remarry, live your life. Be happy, move on. So if you got past relationships, you must move on. Basically telling you, don't hold fast. Move on to that place where you're going to meet that Boaz. But you also have to go through a process. There's a process, it's called servitude. And that's when Ruth comes along. The other woman left, and then you had Naomi that said, no, I'm not going nowhere. I'm following you. I'm going where you're going. She said, why go with me, child? I'm too old. She's basically giving up again. She basically had gave it all up, threw it in because of the widow status and her struggling nature, her death of her marriage. She moved on. But the younger one, full of life, even still, she had a husband that died, so she still was suffering. She showed that, no, I'm going to serve you. I'm going to go with you because you need me right now. So there comes the servitude. She was putting God first in that situation. She was serving. She was a servant first, like our great Jesus was. So, of course, as she moves forward and they get to Moab, they need food. So the harvest, and that's the reason they went for the harvest over there at Moab. So they get there to the harvest, and it was Boaz's field. Of course, Boaz, he was a blessed man of God, but he didn't have a significant other. He was blessed, and he gave to the people. But he, of course, was in waiting and ready. He just hadn't seen the one. She hadn't shined yet. Oh, Lord, here comes Ruth. She comes along. Ruth comes along. She goes to the field and she gets the little leftovers, brings it home, a little nurturing for Naomi to sustain her flesh a little bit. But Naomi kept on telling her, go out there. And she spoke of this Boaz gentleman. She said Boaz because she knew him, because this was a godly man. So, of course, as time went on, and then Boaz began to notice her little by little, hard work at first, but he seen the selflessness. That was it, the key word, the selflessness of her. That's what attracted him. That's what shined, her servitude. She was willing to stand up for somebody. She had the servitude in her. So Boaz, of course, as time went on, Ruth, with her servitude, she served. She was a servant. So she was basically one of them dirty people out there. So you would think, because you see, you woman out there, if you're dirty, you understand what I'm saying? Because of your past relationships, and your scars, you may feel dirty. You might not feel desirable no more. But here, this woman is dirty on the field. Because of her work of God, though, she still was shining. She was emulating. She stood out. So when she came to the man finally and offered herself to him, he thought to himself, this is a woman of God. I know what you've done. So he asked the proper order. Is this woman taken? No, she's not. And that was the story. We have Boaz. But let's talk about a little bit Ruth, how she served and how she got in place. When she got in a place, even with all her hurt and all her tragedy, she went with a woman that was even more suffering. A woman that lost everything. A husband and her children. She had lost her husband. So you got two lost people, but one still had her eyes on God. And that was Ruth. So Ruth having her eyes on God, of course God was going to grant her what she truly desired. That was another husband. So she gets to the field. Boaz, she had no idea. But she liked Boaz because, like many women, they're going to move on. But Boaz, who he was, didn't necessarily see her at first. So woman, don't lose patience. Have patience, I say. Don't lose sight. Don't lose sight like Naomi did when she left. Because Ruth had to show her, you have another chance. You have another chance. You have another chance only if you truly just be yourself. Don't look Don't out there searching. God is going to bring that person to you. He's going to bring that person to you. Regardless of your scars and your dirtiness, you will shine. You will shine. And your Boaz will come in your life. So the main thing about this whole story is, don't give up. Don't never give up hope. Focus on God, not the tragic circumstances. Focus on God, not your pain. Focus on God, and your reward will come. It will only come if you stay focused on God. How you lose focus is when you get like Naomi and say, I had enough, I'm going away. She gave up, but you had Ruth that wound up showing her the light, showed her the way, showed how she can meet another man of God. Hear this man of God come in her life. So, woman, don't give up. First thing is, you get in relationships and they not of God, or the relationships because of our flesh and our emotions. You got to remember, that's a worldly thing. Boaz was a godly thing. So when you say Boaz, know it's a godly thing. Boaz comes, it's a godly thing. It's a representation of God. The man Boaz, let's talk about him for a second for the men. You want to be the Boaz and you looking for your woman? Boaz was a selfless man also. He had all this gain and profit, harvest, but he chose to give it to the poor. He chose to give the shards to the poor, his extras. He could have took it for himself and stored it, but he did not. He was a man of God. So in turn, God presented him his wife. And the only reason he seen her is because he was given to the needy. He was given to that person. So, man, you don't know how it's going to look. But be in your place, your rightful place with God. And when he raises that woman up and he speaks to you, just like Ruth. She didn't have nothing. She didn't have a lot. She was almost a beggar going to get food. But because of the God in her, she shined. Dirty and all. So remember that, man. Boaz is a man of God. So when you looking for your woman of God, sometimes you got to look in the low places. Stop looking in the places that's high and mighty. Because she could be next to you and you never knew it. She could be the woman at the bus stop and you didn't know it. She could be the woman walking to the store with a cart and you didn't know it. To be a real Boaz, you got to be selfless. And you can't look or you can't find your Ruth. So in turn, the woman of God, you won't struggle to find your woman of God. So stay in your place. Stay in your place. And on that note, that's just a quick little talking about breaking down out of the book of Ruth for those struggling in relationships and how hurts of your relationships and your past pains can turn out with God leading the way and the God in you. You can find true happiness. And you can find your soulmate, and you can find your purpose in life. Hallelujah. My name's Angel. Love, peace, and happiness.